Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mila, you're at my book nook, and today we have a if you like this show, try this book. Now, I asked my cousin Danaya, who is more of a TV show slash movie person, to send me a couple of TV shows slash movies, whatever. Well, TV shows mainly. And I will do this video. So I've got a couple are my own choices and a couple are hers. So we are going to start off with a show that some of you might have watched and might have planted the seed of mythology into your brain and other things, but mainly mythology. I don't think there's a single straight fan out of the show, just an FYI. Anyways, the first show we have is Xena, Warrior Princess. If you remember, yes, I said that correctly. Yes, that show that you thought was a fever dream is Xena. It was real. It was real. So this follows Xena, who's a warrior princess, and I think she basically comes across like the aftermath of her and her troop, slaughtering a village, and then she's like, I don't like this, so she becomes good, I guess. I don't remember exactly, but the first book I have is Inanna by Emily H. Wilson, which I have here, but I'm not going to get out because I'm too lazy. This one follows this one has three POVs. This one has the POV of Inanna, the Mesopotamian goddess of love and war, also known as Ishtar. And then we have Gilgamesh, the Mesopotamian king, and we have Ninshubar. In the mythology, she's like a maiden, sort of I think it's like a water bear or something like that. She's a helper of Inanna. So those paths will coincide, and I just recommend this because Inanna is the goddess of love and war, which is where sort of the Aphrodite sort of vibe comes in. The influence of Aphrodite, Aphrodite goddess, the Greek goddess of love and war, is very much influenced by Inanna / Ishtar. Then we have Silence of the Girls. This is mainly for the sort of mythology retelling aspect. This is one of my favorite Trojan War retellings. And this follows Briseis, I believe her name was. And this is part by Pat Barker, if I remember correctly. And this is like a sort of a retelling of the Iliad. So the Trojans get captured, the Trojan women get captured, they get brought to the Greek camps, and sort of it goes from there. I thought this was fantastic. Next, we have Deathless by Catherine M. Valenti. And ever since I read this, I don't think there may have been a couple of videos where I don't mention this because they don't pertain to the subject matter, but this is a really fantastic, again, with the whole mythology, folklore kind of retelling thing. This is a really fantastic book about the Russian fairy tale character of Maria Morevna, who is this incredible princess, queen, warrior. She literally goes off to war at some point. I think to quell a rebellion or something, but she goes off to fight in this conflict, and that is very similar to Xena. So then we have Once Upon a Time. No, that was not a fever dream either. Yes, they're all the family tree is a freaking circle, okay? We have Lunar Chronicles, which, similar to Once Upon a Time, it's sort of the old stories, like the Grimm fairy tales, Snow White, Rapunzel, Cinderella, etc., but with a twist, with a modern YA twist. Now, I know the author, I think, in terms of certain representations, especially the representation of Cinder and I think Kai in the first book, may have gotten into some hot water, but I remember enjoying. I haven't gone back to read it, but I have enjoyed the books in general. Then we have The Witch and the Tsar. Again, I cannot go a video without mentioning this book. Russian folklore. This is a retelling of Baba Yaga. Now, I say Russian folklore because it's actually set in Russia and it follows Russian history. However, Baba Yaga is a Slavic mythology / folklore figure. So a lot of these Slavic countries, Poland, Ukraine, all those countries have a figure of Baba Yaga. They have their own name for Baba Yaga. In this case, Yaga she's half goddess, half mortal, and she's a witch, right? And it has, again, the Slavic mythology as well as the Russian folklore and the Russian history specifically. That's why I say Russian folklore, not in general Slavic folklore, but because some of the things do pertain to specifically Russia. Then we have Merlin that I haven't finished. We're not going to talk about it. Dropping the show finale on Christmas. I still can't get over that. How are you guys like alive? Like how are you guys alive? We have, sorry, I'm just like looking down at a notebook like a freaking nerd. We have Priory of the Orange Tree, which is dragons and found family and a romance. Yeah, and magic. Then we have Silver in the Bone, which is an Arthur-inspired story since Merlin follows King Arthur. This is an Arthurian-inspired story. It does mention King Arthur. It mentions the Isle of like Avalon. It mentions like King Arthur and Merlin and all that stuff in general. It does have magic, but it is mainly Arthurian, like inspired. And then we have Sabriel. Sabriel is darker in tone, like Merlin can be sometimes, but it's a really good it's a really interesting magic system in the sense of that the magic system relates to death and necromancy. So yeah, then we have, this is my cousin's contribution. We have Pretty Little Liars. Now, I didn't even watch, I don't think I got past the first season of Pretty Little Liars, and even then, I don't think I got past the first few episodes, to be honest. And I'm not going to recommend the books because apparently the books are even crazier, which I feel like that says a lot. When the books are crazier than the TV show, when the original source material is crazier than the TV show. That doesn't happen very often. That like the TV show, sorry, the opposite doesn't happen very often. So for Pretty Little Liars, this is like a mystery, high school, kids, people, whatever. Some of these characters ought to go to like jail. Like straight up, they need to go to jail. I'm looking at you, Mr. Fitz. So we have A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. To no one's surprise, this follows Pip. She wants to recover what actually happened during a supposed murder. And yeah, and I don't know what that was. Yeah, so that's that. I highly recommend the audiobook for the first one at least, because I listened to the first one on audiobook. It was fantastic. Then we have, where was I? Truly Devious. This is another YA, and this was, this one, I don't think I think I had to, both A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. If you can't tell, I'm a scaredy cat, so I don't read like horror or anything. I rarely read mysteries anyways. So A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Truly Devious captured this eerie sense of a mystery book so well that I had to make sure I was reading it in broad daylight. Truly Devious is about a girl whose name I've forgotten, and she's definitely she's definitely on, she has the tism. So basically she gets into this school, and the school there was like a murder, and she wants to, that's like her project. That's what got her into the school. So there's that. Then we have Criminal Minds, another contribution from my cousin. We have Ninth House. Criminal Minds is essentially, you follow a group of behavioral analysts, sort of, from the BAU, Behavioral Analyst Unit, or whatever it's called, analysis unit. They basically have to catch the murders because before they get to the next one, get to the next victim, as fast as they can. So we have Ninth House. This follows our main girl, Alex, as she is accepted into Harvard. Was it Harvard? I think it was Harvard. I don't remember. It's been a minute. But basically, she becomes part of this sort of house that, like, investigates magic stuff. Ninth House. Then we have Project Hail Mary. This isn't in the sort of murder way because there's really no outright murders. But there's no murders. There are accidents and people get killed, but there are no murders. And this is in the sense of like a mystery aspect. Like, why is our main character on a ship thousands of light years away from home, and like he's the only one left, and whatever he does on said ship it might change the course of humanity. Like, it might doom humanity, or it might save humanity. Like, that kind of thing, So it's like Criminal Minds has a similar sort of line going throughout each episode. It's like, they don't catch the killer, it will really hurt the local population and even the population of the, I guess, overall United States, because copycats are always a problem. Then we have Supernatural. Now, Supernatural, I watched one episode and I tapped the hell out. Again, not good with monsters, not good with jump scares, not good with horror. I do know the Destiel memes. I know that there is a Supernatural meme for every single thing. So I do know the whole Destiel confession and all that stuff. And I know some of the lore. So I'm a supernatural fan by association, so to speak. So the first book I have is The Devils. It feels a little too on the nose to recommend The Devils for supernatural, but The Devils, I think that says enough. It's by Joe Abercrombie. It's the first in a trilogy. He's fantastic. It's grimdark fantasy. For some reason, I find like grimdark fantasy less scary than like actual like TV show grimdark fantasy, so to speak. And then, so The Devils follows a group of ragtag devils, people, magician, you have a werewolf, you have a dude that doesn't die, and they have to carry out this mission and try not to die in the process. And then we have Hemlock and Silver. Now, this isn't one I finished. This is one I am reading it right now. Like I'm actively reading it, right? So Hemlock and Silver follows our main girl Anya, who is a poisoner, and she has to travel to the king's place, right, where they're staying, and she has to figure out why his daughter Snow White, is sick. Who is she being poisoned? Is it self-inflicting? Like, what is going on, right? So this is in the sense that like supernatural, they try to figure out a mystery, I guess, every episode? Question mark? I don't know. I haven't watched this. I told you guys. Anyways, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Do the usual, like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on all my socials, and I will see you in the next one.